Okay, amazing. Welcome everybody live and who is watching it later on replay. Today we're going to be talking about MindLink, and I'm also going to share with you. So what we go over in the book is like the basic outline and the foundation and what are the best practices of like what different situations and things that come up in people's lives, these different techniques really are the most powerful for. And then there's like the script, and it's just like a basic outline. So I'm also going to share with you today. I'll put it in the email that gets sent out. I think it will get sent out like tomorrow morning with the list of all of the different recordings that we've gone over in the last, I think it's been a few months now, 3 months, which is so cool. And I'll add in there a link to a full like 25 minute MindLink script. It's the one that I put together for my clients. And so, yeah, it'll be familiar for you, Miss Maria. Just there's like a couple of the things that I tweaked from Dr. Porter's other scripts from Positive Changes to be a little bit more consistent with what I'm doing in my program, which it's a little bit different. Cool. So that's super exciting. So we're going to go over this technique today. It is MindLink. In my book, it's on page 167. What's it in your book, Maria?
176.
176. Okay. See, actually, I wanted to ask you, what edition is yours? Because I was looking, because I just like for consistency for next time. Mine is the revised edition, October 2004.
Well,
so if you look in the
cover, the cover says discover the language of the mind.
Yeah, no, just the edition.
Okay, let me look.
So be like inside the first page, you just kind of flip it over.
Right. Revised edition, October 2004.
That's exactly what mine says. There's something weird going on in the universe here. Mine just must be a funky one, because you and Jody both have the exact same pages. And for some reason, my pages were like totally off.
It has the lady sleeping, right?
Yeah, it's the same edition. It's the exact same one. That is so funny. Oh my God. I love how life just throws curveballs like that. That's amazing.
Okay, I don't know.
Okay, so we are in chapter 13, the MindLink technique, and it references last week's session where we talked about quantum fusion, which I also did a little explanation of quantum fusion on my YouTube channel specific to weight loss and health. So if that's interesting to you, I'd zip over there and check that video out as well. Stein Coaching. Okay, so although quantum fusion is one technique that you will probably use more frequently than others, at times it's not appropriate to fuse resources together, but rather link them to each other. Advertisers do this all the time, quite effectively. How do you spell relief? So if any of you said ROLAIDS, Rolaids, then your mind linked Rolaids commercial with relief, which is exactly what they wanted you to do. Also, Nike does that really well, the just do it. So like that motivation and that energy, you think about Nike and all of a sudden like you get energized to do something awesome for your body. The advertiser's intention was to take a negative state such as intestinal upset and link it with their product relief. That's correct. Their product is not really an antacid. Their product is relief. Relief is what they are selling. Just a little side note, as a nutrition specialist, if you are in the habit of taking Rolaids on a regular basis or any kind of antacid, please don't. I am more than happy to offer you a free consultation on exactly why that is not a good idea and how it's probably doing the opposite of what you want it to do, even though you do find some relief in the moment. Okay, that's my nutrition little spiel there. The MindLink technique places the individual into control of his or her state, right? Mental and emotional state. In my experience, all successful people have one strategy in common. They know how to manage their mental state. Avoiding frustration is not the key. Rather, it is turning frustration into flexibility, fear into power, anxiety into expectancy, and so forth. It's about moving that energy, not going away from it or trying to shove it under the carpet or make it not exist. The mind link is effective for depression. This is really awesome. This is good news because, quite frankly, life is depressing, right? And it can be real easy to fall into that spiral. We know lots of people who have done that, especially over the last couple of years. So people in a state of depression seem to fit a universal mold. Their shoulders are rolled forward, their head is down. This is where they are accessing feelings. People in a state of depression are typically going deep inside for an answer, where they know a solution is at hand. Depressed people literally withdraw from the outer world in order to put pressure on their deep inner resources. First of all, I just want to say what a powerful reframe just that sentence is, right? That depression is actually going inside for answers. Like, that is so beautiful, so much more empowering than you've got something wrong with you. So for this reason, I think a better term for depression might be compression. By anchoring these people from the depressed state into a one of possibility, their mind will instantly move from the state of depression to one of expectancy or perhaps even excitement. I sometimes smile as I recall my first meeting with two psychologists who had asked me to write a program for the driving under influence DUI offenders in their state. They liked what I had to say, but they wanted me to prove that my techniques could work in the real world. They had shared a knowing glance, grinned and nodded, and they gazed back at me. They knew who the perfect candidate would be. Her name was Marcia, a young woman of 19 years old who lived in a perpetual state of depression. They said that if I was able to help Marcia, I certainly had something that could help the world. I was up for the challenge, so I asked them to bring Marcia in. Before I moved on with Marcia's story, I would like to make clear that those people in severe states of depression should always be advised to see a medical doctor. I was informed that Marcia had been thoroughly examined and had no physical causes for her depression. The first thing I noticed was that Marcia's neurology was certainly that of the typically depressed. I asked her what was happening in her life. Her statements immediately told me that she had developed a dim and distant view of her future. There was nothing bright and compelling in her future that might have otherwise motivated her. It would be impractical to attempt building a future from a depressed state. This is actually a really important thing to remember of why so many times people try and do positive affirmations when they're really in a funky state, and it just doesn't work. It actually oftentimes makes us feel worse when we're trying to make a quantum leap, like a jump from where we are looking for answers on the inside and not seeing any joy into, I am abundant, I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am, whatever those things that they want. It's not that it's not a good idea, but it's not actually helpful. Sometimes we need to actually take a couple of steps before we really get to that place where we believe those affirmations. I knew that the only way that Marcia would experience results was if she could move from the depressed state into a positive one. Shoot, even neutral would be better, where she could remain active and functional in life. The more she could move into a positive and uplifting state, the more she would accomplish and the further she would move from the negative states of the past. I began to train Marcia's mind to move from one state to another. I asked her to get into the depressed state. As soon as she had the feelings, I asked her to look up to the ceiling and think of 3 things that she thoroughly enjoys doing. I told her to think of activities that have nothing to do with her present situation. As Marcia looked up to the ceiling, a smile crossed her face and she began to feel better without knowing why. Her physiology began to transform. Her shoulders began to roll back. Her head was up and she was beginning to look further down the road of life. As soon as she recognized those signs of feeling good, I had her step into each of those situations and mentally live them to the best of her ability. Then, as I broke the state, so breaking the state means to like stop the process of imagining, right? So how you would do that in a state of hypnosis, and you'll see as we go through it, it will explain this, is if you're like in a deep place, then you either open your eyes, look around the room, ask a question, make a joke. So oftentimes people who are really good on stage and who can grab people's attention, they'll take you to a place of like real emotion, and then they'll break that state, and then they'll bring you back to that place of real emotion. And that's really how you begin to link two things together, is with that kind of repetition. And so that's that way of how the brain learns. It's scientific. We now understand how it works. And so using this for our benefit, actually understanding how the mind works, and then going, I can do this. I know how to do this. You've been doing it naturally for many times in your life. It's just actually, we're now like going, I can see the pattern. And then we can now use it intentionally. Okay, so each one, then I broke the state. I noticed that she was sinking back into depression, just as she had trained her body to do. I immediately took her back up to the ceiling with 3 new situations, this time in the future. Her eyes rolled up, and instantly the lips curved into a smile, and a look of health and vitality began to appear. Marcia's healthy, positive thoughts were triggering her brain to release endorphins that were making her feel good naturally. Once she went through all 3 future situations, I broke the state again. So again, how you do that in hypnosis is you have them open their eyes, you talk about something else, or you go back to, if they're like kind of like in a deep state, you want to bring them up a little bit, and you go, okay, now, notice the sensation in your feet. And as soon as their attention and awareness goes to any body part and is like thinking about the relaxation of that body part, that's also a way to break the state. As she looked around the room, I had her settle back in and then returned to the 2 women to make a few comments. In these few moments, I watched Marcia slowly slide back into her depressed state, but this time it was to a much lesser degree. Once again, I had her roll her eyes up, this time throwing her shoulders back. Marcia began to enjoy the game of building excitement. Marcia now realized that going after what she wants in life could be exciting. Internally planning and promoting success could feel like magic. It could become a form of addiction, a positive addiction that improves the quality of everyday life. And the best part was, it could all be programmed, just like programming a computer, so that it happens automatically upon awakening in the morning. I then told Marcia, your mind works perfectly. Instantly and automatically, your mind can remember just what it's like when you roll your eyes up to the ceiling. I'm not sure how often you will need to do this process, but you are. Very powerful, always putting the intention and the control and the setting the tone, the future pacing in the client's hands, because it's not you who are doing the changes, right? It's always the person doing the changes themselves. And these little lines here are ways in which you kind of emotionally separate from your client so that they don't become dependent upon you for the changes that they want to make. This is about empowering the person to do it themselves, just helping them understand how their mind works, and then they have to do the work. Really important. She promptly told me that if she did it 3 more times, that she would be pretty well convinced that it would work forever, right? So now she's setting the tone, she's setting the barometer. I told her to go ahead and take herself through the same process 3 times, and when she was finished, to let us know. As we were deep in conversation about our future plans, Marcia's voice suddenly broke in. I'm done, she chirped. We all smiled at her and continued about our business. Marcia sat and listened attentively. Her body remained erect and her eyes bright. Marcia had changed her thinking process simply by changing her body's posture. She had been able to link her mind to new experiences. When I saw Marcia again, Only a week later, she was quick to point out how exciting and positive her life had become since she had learned how to use her mind to instantly imagine what she wanted. She was now able to realize how, in the past, she had actually placed herself into the depressed state. Really powerful. And let me tell you one thing right here, though. And I've made this mistake, and I wish that I hadn't, but what are you going to do? Telling someone that they have a choice while they're in it before they have actually experienced that they have a choice, experienced the other side, experienced the power of their own autonomy and the way that they feel, telling someone that they have the power is not awesome. Okay. Unless you actually have a solution, pointing out people's problems really sucks, especially if they're not coming to you for the answer as well. So, word to the wise, even if you know that this is powerful and that this is true, letting people come to their own conclusions around that and just showing them the way out is way more helpful, because if they think that they're doing it to themselves, it can spiral down even deeper into depression. She described how, after the first few days of practice, she began to change her states automatically without even knowing what was happening. I told her that her other than conscious mind could continue this process, and it would soon slide into an unconscious behavior completely outside of her conscious awareness. Marcia had previously shown little motivation towards a career. She had bounced from job to job, each new position lasting only a week or two before she would quit or get herself fired. However, Marcia had built her own future, where she is now successfully running her own business as a manicurist. She is frequently heard expounding on the merits of excitement and challenge in her work. She thoroughly enjoys being her own boss and making her own choices. There are many situations where the mind link can come into play. Depression, stress, frustration, or anger are the emotions that best respond to this technique. These are the states when a person feels out of control, with no excitement or movement towards goals. There is nothing worse than being stuck in a state and not knowing how to get out of it. Whew, awesome. So, Miss Maria, do you find it more helpful to be the giver or the receiver?
Oh, we didn't mute me. I don't know, I'm neutral. I like both.
Yeah. Well, I would be happy to do either one either. You want to Rochambeau?
Rochambeau, what's that?
Rock, paper, scissors.
Rochambeau.
You ever do that? Like scissors, rock, paper?
Oh, okay. Well, I've been reading, so why don't you read instead? Because I read 2 times last week, the couple of weeks.
Okay, totally.
Okay.
All right, so do you have a depressed, stressed, frustrated, or angry emotion in mind to work with today?
I don't know if it's, we can say depression, but it's really just stuck sometimes. And it's more physical, but a little bit mental. But we could call it depression if you want to. I have been depressed in the past, but I'm much better today.
Yeah. Physically stuck, a little bit depressed. I mean, you know how it is. There's no need to actually say any of these words.
Mm-hmm. But I'm just trying to be transparent. That's all.
Yeah, totally.
But there is,
but physically stuck, that resonates with you?
Yeah, it does. Cause it's like, and that's what gets me bogged down when I get like tired. And then I get like, ugh. That's the best way I can describe it. How the feeling feels. It's like, oh, I feel just, ugh. And and it makes me a little sad, makes me not motivated at all. Mm-hmm. When I get stuck physically and emotionally. And then depressed. But I have been depressed where it's like total hopelessness and total why bother, not there's no solution. Borderline death and suicidal, but not really suicidal. No, I'm too chicken to do that shit. But it's like someone got to push me off the ledge because I'm not doing it.
Okay, so I'm back on the outcome questions. So that's 82 in my book, probably 86 or something in your guys's book, but it's called outcome questions.
Okay.
And so I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions. Not that you use everything that you gather from somebody in every session, but it's just kind of good to repeat these and become familiar with these and really get the framework of what we're talking about here. And of course, repetition is always key. So the first question is, what would you like to attain from this session? And from what I hear, you're talking about just some movement when you're feeling physically and emotionally stuck, when you have like, you know, kind of the hints of depression and it just makes you not motivated. So you'd really like a way to move through that a bit quicker. Is that accurate?
Just get rid of it, like just blow it up, and so I can do what I want to do.
Cool. So when would you like to have these changes?
Now.
And how often would you need to display this behavior of blowing it up when it happens to convince you that that's just a automatic processing of your subconscious mind at this point?
A couple of times.
And is there any reason that you should not make this change?
Logically, no reason. Emotionally, there's what comes up for me is the past. It's like, it tells me it's going to be the same. It's going to be failure. It's going to be nothing. So that totally makes me stuck a little bit, because I go back to the past and I'm like, oh yeah, that does make sense. And, you know, if it was, you know, if I've tried it in the past and it, you know, it's going to repeat itself. So why bother? And for some reason, I just kind of get stuck there. And I don't want it anymore.
You know, it was really interesting. On the walk this morning, there was this big hill and Sierra was kind of behind me. And so I turned around and I was walking up the hill backwards as I was like watching her, making sure that she didn't get lost in the hills and whatever. And I started thinking
your dog?
about, yeah, Sierra, okay. Yeah, the dog. And I started thinking about like how interesting it is to walk backwards and how it's kind of scary, right? If you're always focused on the past, and always focus on where you just came from, it's weird to walk backwards. It's uncomfortable. I mean, I get that it's more familiar because you're like, oh, I know this because I've been looking at it, but you really got to turn around if you want to go anywhere, you know? And that was just an interesting metaphor for what we're talking about and doing here. And like how interesting it is that the mind's focus, a lot of its focus, if we are not intentional, is about the past, which makes sense. It's about survival, right? Like we need to survive. So that makes sense. We need to understand the past, but yeah, really powerful. Thank you for sharing. Okay. So is there any reason they shouldn't? Number 5. Okay. So what stops you from making this change on your own?
I already said the past, but maybe money.
Money.
Maybe money, and which I know is bullshit, but I'm just giving you what pops up in my head. It's like, it's going to happen no matter if I have money or not. I just got to do it. And then that money comes up and I'm like, it's judgment, me judging myself because I have no money or have lack of money or think I have not enough. And I'm just sick of it. I'm like, God, I'm just physically getting nauseous just thinking of these thoughts, but they're here in my head.
Thank you. Have you ever made a similar change?
Yes.
What are the positive benefits of making this change?
More money.
Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny how the cycle goes around? I know. I totally get it.
More money. It would be fun. I'll be living the life that I want, and without the care of people, what people have to say or what they feel. Uh, freedom, freedom, maybe. I would feel like just, oh, and also how it will affect other people. It will affect other people in a positive way. So,
is there any part of you that doesn't want to change?
yeah, just the past, and maybe just afraid of what people will have to think about me, afraid of what people will say about me. Yeah.
And what will need to occur during the process for you to make this change?
Oh my God, what will need to happen in the process for it to change? Me
Well,
just
yeah,
do
for
it.
you to really,
Yeah,
I mean, because like what we're trying to do here, I mean, I know that you're saying like blow it up, but it's the same thing with the weight. Like we want it to just disappear. I mean, I get that, but like that's not actually what happens. What happens is that there is movement and the energy that is so exciting that even when stuff does come up, it's so easy to move through it and see the beauty in it and like the gift in it and the message in it and move on. So that's what I'm kind of hearing you say, like, blow it up. It's like, cool. Like I'm down to get like the fragments of the joy that is from this pain, because on some level that there's a seed of greatness in every dark time, right? There's the seed of an equal and opposite joy.
Oh, tell me the question again. Ask me the question.
Yeah. So what would need to happen during this process in the next 20 minutes? Yeah. For you to really just blow up this stuck to the past, physically and mentally not motivated drama.
See the end results.
You need to see the end.
Yeah, I need to see the end so I know where the hell I'm going.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah, because I've been a little like I can't see it when I ask myself, what do I want? I'm like, I can't see the shit. I can't see it. So I can't give you the answer. Even though I've been told the beginning and the end. And, God says that all the time. And also Dr. Porter said it, you have to focus on the end. And though I knew the answer, it still didn't compute maybe, but I'm getting it. And I have to see the end, not because someone tells me, it has to come within me.
I know.
To see the end. Do you know what I'm saying? It sounds kind of illogical, but it's logical to me at the same time.
No, I totally get it.
I'm seeing the end, and it's not because somebody said, well, this is what your life should look like.
Right.
And I'm like, no, I don't want your life. I don't want you to tell me what my life should look like. And then they go, well, what do you want, Maria? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what it looks like. Give me a minute. It's been 30 years and still don't know what my life should look like. But that's what I want. I want to see the end result so I can have a freaking answer to myself.
Okay. Well, provide the vision, Lord, provide the vision.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Okay. So I'm cruising back over to MindLink, which is, what did we say? Chapter 13. Cool. Okay, so yeah, I think that just saying yes or no and responding to me is going to be fine. I know how easy it is for you to relax and connect and go there. So I feel comfortable with you responding with the yes and no words and or letting me know where we need to go. So if something comes up for you and you're like, I'm going in this direction, Rose, cool, let me know.
All right. I'm in bed today.
Cool, perfect.
Instead of the old rocking chair that makes a bunch of noise. Okay, you don't need to see me, you just got to hear my voice, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Cool. So take a moment and close your eyes. Start the relaxation response. Are you going to put on your little glasses there?
Yes.
Hell yeah. So in case you guys don't know, I have one of these at home too. I don't even know if you can get them anymore, but we got them like 10 years ago at our place. I know that he still sells them, but you got to link them to his app, which is totally actually worth it. And if you want the link for that, I'm happy to give it to you.
Yeah.
But this is Dr. Porter's. Yeah.
Yeah. Post it because they're about to break. Like one eyeball is working only.
Totally.
It's been for a long time. And so I'm ready to buy a new one. Thank you.
So they're called sound and light machines. And they basically, there's these glasses that blink the lights. And then if you know, I mean, obviously she's not going to put the audio on right now, but if she did, there'd be binaural beats in each side. And it is extremely powerful in synchronizing your brain waves into a state of relaxation. So into that state of where your mind is open to suggestions. So she's just going to put the glasses on to help her do that, which is perfection. So as you're taking these moments now, and your eyes comfortably closed, your breathing becoming deep and rhythmic, just moving into the relaxation response. Breathing in deeply and breathing out completely. As you listen to my voice, you will find yourself going deeper and deeper. Listen to each word that is said. Focus on my voice. Let go of all sounds and influences. And as you relax, you will find it easy, natural, and comfortable to say yes when it's appropriate, and just say yes right now.
Yes.
You are doing perfectly. I can hear you just fine. And each time you close your eyes, it will be easier and easier for you to enter into a relaxed and comfortable state. And just so you and I are on the same page, it's easy and comfortable for you to give me a no response when it is appropriate. And please give me a no response now.
No.
Exactly. You are doing just fine. And as you go deep inside, I want you to think of that state we were just speaking about in which you felt stuck. Right? Sometimes it's a physically stuck, sometimes it's emotional, kind of on the verge of depression, a lack of motivation. Think of the state that you would most like to change. And when you have that in mind, give me a yes response.
Yes.
You are doing great. Now that you have that state that you would like to transform, to blow up, begin to realize that you trained yourself to have this response. You now have the ability to learn a new response. Go inside and let your mind drift and wander back in time to the earliest memory that you can recall today of experiencing that unwanted state. It could be a memory as a child, or it could be a memory of something that happened or occurred as early as today. Move to that early memory, and when you are there, just let me know with a yes response.
Okay. Yes.
You are doing great. So take a moment now, and I'd like you to take your right index finger and your thumb and put the tips of the two fingers together. And notice that each time that you put your index finger and your thumb on your right hand together in this way, you will remember this time and all of these feelings. And now take a moment to let that feeling go, let your fingers go, and move your attention, your awareness down to your feet. Maybe even wiggle your toes a little bit. Notice the sensation in the bottoms of your feet. It's not often we think about the bottoms of our feet and how they have supported you through every step that you have taken. And just allow your attention and your awareness to move down your body to the bottoms of your feet and back up to the top of your head. Take a deep breath. That's right. You're doing perfectly. So take a moment now and think of what the opposite feeling or state would be. That's right. Imagine that physically stuck, almost depressed, not motivated state has totally blown up, right? And fill yourself with that integrity of emotion, that motivated and excited, free and flexible. And think of a time in your life when you were in that positive state. Let me know when you have that in mind.
Okay.
And really get there. Take a moment to fully get into this state. Notice the way that your body is feeling. What are you seeing? What are you hearing? What feelings did you experience? And imagine that you were there now. Really get into it, all of the senses, from the bottoms of your feet to the top of your head, every thought, every idea.
Wow. Okay.
Go ahead now and take your opposite hand, index finger and thumb, and place them together. Touch the tip of the opposite hand's finger and thumb. And now begin to realize that each and every time you place your left finger and thumb together in this way, you will immediately begin to think of the positive and beneficial resource that you are creating right now. Let it move through your body, invigorate every cell, every system, every thought, every idea. Remember the way that colors look in your mind when everything seems to work perfectly. Notice the way you're speaking to yourself, the way others are encouraging you. Remember the way that colors look in your mind when everything seems to work perfectly. Remember what you say to yourself. Recall those wonderful positive feelings and let them fill your body. Every crevice, every nook and cranny. And when your body is full of these feelings, you can take a deep breath and let me know.
Okay.
You are doing perfectly. Go ahead and let go of that anchor now in the left hand. And just allow your mind and your body to go even deeper. Just relax. So what would it be like now for you, Maria, if the next time that you began to feel that negative state, and I'll go ahead and put your right index finger and thumb together and remember that stuck feeling physically and mentally, but not motivated. And every time you began to feel that, that immediately you began to feel the opposite, and place your left index finger and thumb together and roll your eyes upward mentally in your mind. Allow the space and the place to move the energy as you look up and you see 3 doorways. Now, each doorway has an opposite feeling and behavior from those of the past. These are positive new behaviors from which you can benefit as early as today. Now, when you have this in your imagination, give me a yes response.
Okay.
Excellent. You can go ahead and let go of the anchors too and allow your hands to just relax. Now re-anchor your left hand, that positive state. And so your fingers together in your left hand. And imagine that you're going through doorway number 1. Now this is where you use your mind and your imagination, this incredible resource that you've been given to think beyond your present circumstances and allow the connection into the divine universe to give you ideas, to give you new experiences and new ways in which you can take all of the wisdom of the past into a new adventure. And instantly and automatically, you begin to display this new behavior as you walk through doorway number 1. It's different from any past behaviors. And allow yourself to view this without questioning. Stepping into the experience. Seeing through the eyes of change. Hearing through the ears of change. And sensing and feeling with your body as if you were actually in the future displaying this new behavior. And when you are done, just give me a yes response.
Okay.
You are doing excellent. Go ahead and release the fingers and take in a deep breath. And just let it all go. Stepping out of doorway number 1. And now it's time to step through doorway number 2. And again, take your left index finger and thumb, this positive anchor, and press down together. And begin to fully experience a new behavior as you walk through doorway number 2. Notice how well this new behavior works in the future. Take all the time you need. And when you are done, just give me a yes response.
Okay.
Excellent. Go ahead and release your fingers and take in a deep breath. And thank your mind and body for going on this journey with you. As you step out of doorway number 2. Now, you've already been through 2 options that you could use to discover your outcome. So now it's time to step through doorway number 3. And as you roll your eyes upward and you look at doorway number 3, make this behavior one that you would perhaps never really imagine yourself doing. Make this behavior even a little ridiculous and fun. This third door will be the door of flexibility. Now, if there is a behavior between door 1 and door 3 that might be appropriate in a situation, the other than conscious mind will provide it upon awakening. So take this time now as you re-anchor those 2 fingers on your left hand and you move your eyes upward and you move through this last doorway. See through the eyes of the future. Hear through your ears of possibility and opportunity. And sense and feel what your body would be feeling if you were to experience this state upon awakening in the future. Taking all the time you need. And when you have done this, just let me know with a yes response.
Yes.
Excellent. Go ahead and let go of the finger anchor. And take another deep breath. You are doing excellent. And now that you have seen, heard, and experienced 3 new behaviors, begin to think once again of the unwanted state of the past and put those on your right hand, that anchor, the negative emotions of the past, the fingers together. This is the past that you are wanting to change, to transform, to blow up into a positive and resourceful state. And when you have that state, just give me a yes response.
Yes, I have it.
Yep. So go ahead and let go of that anchor now and let your fingers just relax. And once again, what would it be like if these old feelings instantly and automatically blew up right before your eyes and brought about new options where you would instantly walk through each doorway, set the positive anchor with your 2 fingers, and roll your eyeballs upward inside of your mind, inside of your eyes, and you decide which of these options would be best for you at any time, at that particular time. Now begin to think of 3 different situations in the future where this would be beneficial. Perhaps in your morning, sometime in the afternoon, maybe in your evening. Now, in your mind, move in and through each door, discovering which behavior would be best for you. And when you find that behavior, say to yourself, yes, I will do that.
Yes, I will do that.
Now think of 3 places in the future where you would want to display this new behavior unconsciously, automatically, without question, without hesitation, where the unwanted state could instantly be transformed into a positive new resource state. Taking all the time you need, and when that has occurred, imagine that you are back in the room and give me a yes response.
Yes.
Excellent. Releasing all anchors and just relaxing. And when you think of the undesired state, that physically, mentally stuck and unmotivated, notice what it is like now. Each time you practice this process, you will notice your eyes rolling up, instantly noticing the doorways of choice, of opportunity and possibility for you. And how many times would you need to go through this process successfully to know that this is a new habit recorded in the subconscious mind that you can use at any time, any place?
Okay.
Have you repeated it the couple of times that you needed to make this stick?
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yes.
Okay, excellent. So in a moment, it will be time to awaken, remembering that the work that you have done here is a powerful process, linking your mind in an incredible way that will allow you the opportunity to have a new experience. And at any time you want to come back to this relaxed state and gather the resources that you have, you know that you can. So we're going to count you up from 1 to 5. 1, just noticing the way in which your body is supported. 2, being grateful for the lights, helping guide your mind and your brain into a state of receptive relaxation. 3, thanking all that is and all that was and all that will be for coming together in this moment of transformation and possibility for you. And 4, taking in a deep breath and allowing the relaxation to flow through your body, your cells, and your systems, invigorating every corner, every nook and cranny. And 5, wide awake now, feeling fine and in perfect health. And this is so.
Okay. So that was the trip.
Welcome back. So it says in here, after the session, there is a suggestion to ask you to think about that place where you're like physically and emotionally stuck and unmotivated. What do you think about now as you think about that? Okay, you guys, so hold on. Notice how her eyes, and rewatch that last 3 seconds if you did not notice this, but see how her eyes are rolling upward. That is a good sign. In this session where he was talking to Marcia, the girl who was the depressed girl in there, every time he took her out, she still went back into her stuck state. Every time that she thought about it, she was right back there. So he had to do it a few times with her to really get her to a place of now she's not going right back into that state. And you can see that Maria was instantly, she didn't go there at all. She was like, okay, like for a second, you could see she went down for a second. She's like accessing the depression, and then her eyes went up and she was automatically, right, instinctually, subconsciously, automatically, this is what we're looking for and this is what we want. You know that the session worked because she's looking up to find the solution.
You caught that. Wow. I didn't even notice I was doing that.
I know.
Except for
Watch this
maybe
back. It was
just
really cool.
when my eye went this way, I'm like, oh, I'm looking to my future because I know that.
Right.
But it felt natural. It felt good. It felt like, it just felt like release. But I didn't know. I looked down real quick and then I looked up and to the left. No, right. Excuse me, the right. Only when my eyes went to the extreme right, that's when I noticed I'm looking at my future non-verbally inside my head because I'm aware of that. So cool, it's working, and stuff works. So besides my body language and of my face, my eye position, I instantly think of a color. And those were one of the doors that you asked me to anchor for the positive, was a color. So I instantly saw the door and the color, and it was really fun. I like it. It's green, actually. It's green, color green. And so I saw that. And then immediately I saw the 2 others doors, which are just as fun, but that's the first door. And that one is the love that I brought for myself. This love that's not selfish, but it's a different ambiguous love. And it feels absolutely wonderful from the top of my head, all the way down to the bottom of my feet.
Mhm.
I like
Yes.
this link.
Yeah, totally. You know, that feeling of like real love, right? Not where it's conditional, it's unconditional,
Mm.
right? From source and or self together.
Mhm.
That is so transformational. So, I mean, I know that when the first time I felt that, it was like my whole life changed. Yeah.
I didn't know about that love, but it came to me in a dream. So that's
Yeah.
one of the memories of the dream that I had. And I call it Dancing with
Mm.
Angels. But actually,
Mm.
I thought the green color was coming from the angel. And then I realized it was coming from me. I'm like,
You're like, oh wait, I can do this.
but I didn't know it was there until I had
Yeah.
that dream. And it made me feel completely drunk for 3 days. It was the best non-alcoholic beverage I've had that made me feel drunk and high, and total love that made me feel drunk with no alcohol.
Yeah.
And that was I want to feel that way again, and it's inside of me. So I picked that color on purpose because in the dream it was the color green.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's this color? Is that the angel color or something? I don't know. Then I realized later it came from me. It's all inside of us. We just are not aware of it. So there I am. I went into that door with the color green, and this is fun and exciting, and it's out of this world. Really, it is. Something, I know I said I wanted to see the future, the end. I got to get through it, and in my mind, I'm like, I want to see the end. And I didn't see the end, but I saw the beginning of the journey to get to the end. And it looked like a spiral, like I was going on a journey, and it was really fun, like a roller coaster ride. And I said, okay, that's cool. This is better than just being stuck. And then I saw these little sparkles, and something was saying, it's a surprise. I'm like, okay. And I like surprises.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, I'm going to trust the universe. I'm just going to go with the flow. I like this roller coaster. At least I'm not stuck anymore. But I could visualize the end, but I think the end is going to be better than my visual.
Right.
That's what I'm trusting.
Right. That's a good realization as well. It's like,
Yeah.
listen, I might not have the capacity to see it right now, but that's okay. Like,
Yeah.
I know at least the direction that I'm going.
And yeah, it's gonna look a lot funner than I thought. And it just totally lifts my spirits like no tomorrow. I almost feel like crying. That's how happy I am right now, but I'm not gonna cry. At least I'm going. Thank you, God. Thank you, Jesus. Oh, finally.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but this stuff really works. And I don't see how people can get to where they need to go without dealing with the shit that they have to deal with today. We're not even aware that we're holding on to this shit because this mind is working perfectly, just like the way Dr. Porter says, and we're just doing our best. And this is valuable stuff. And there's
Amen.
people
So
out there who
go
don't
share
do
it.
this. Yes, there's people who don't do this, but somehow make it. They have to be doing something on themselves to make it in life, or they're just lucky ducks. I don't know.
No. I mean, again, like he didn't make all of this up. This was his learning and teaching. And it's just the way that the mind works. It's just understanding it. Like some people are really good at explaining things and other people are not, you know what I mean? Like they do it, but they don't know how to explain it. You know, so like all of us do this in our minds anyway. We just often are linking things we don't want linked.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Right?
Like some people just naturally know what to do without saying, and maybe they don't have the capability of teaching it and they just do it. And but most people that I know, they all got problems. And and that's holding them back. No judgment. And some people can have problems and still go where they want to go. Like you said, it's probably something they're doing, just not aware of it.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I got to focus on me, and this
Amen.
works for me.
Amen. Me too. All right. Well, thanks for being here. That was super fun. And there was a lot in that. So if you guys were, following along, watching this recording and like reading in here, like you'll notice there was often times that I went off script. There was often times that I modified for what it is that we were doing, and, some of the words that she was wanting, her intention. So that's awesome. So exciting. All right. So next week we're going to be doing swish. Do you remember swish? Swish.
Yes. That one works too.
I know. It's really cool.
It works.
So this is the opposite. Oh, we'll get into it next week. Anyway, I'm not.
Yeah, it's all these techniques are super cool.
Yeah.
And I call them, they're techniques, and then in our toolbox you can pull out whatever, and one method is going to work to help yourself and your subject or clients. Something's going to resonate.
Oh, wait. Okay. So no, swish is the one after. So that'll be in 2 weeks. Next week is theater of the mind, and then swish, and then we're done.
Theater of the mind is good.
I know. This is a really powerful one. Theater of the mind, swish, and then we'll be done. And I don't know if we'll take a break or just start at the beginning again, and encourage.
Are we going to
do
the one for pain, physical pain, pinching of the hand, or did we do that one already? I don't think we did.
No, glove anesthesia. I was going to skip that one because that one feels like you actually need the person. I mean, we could do it if we wanted to.
I think we should try.
Okay.
There's a lot of people that are in physical pain, and
that's true.
And I really hope they're open to this and let the brain and flow the endorphins out. True. Instead of depending on medicine all the time.
That's true. That's true. Okay. All right. So we got 3 weeks left then.
Sweet. Thank you.
Awesome. You're welcome. Love you.
Have a
See you
good
next
day.
time. You too. Bye.
Bye.